Namaste everybody, my name is Avinash Anand Singh. Welcome to this video. Thank you for watching and wishing you all an amazing new year. This year, I wish and pray that it brings a lot of abundance, happiness, joy, growth and success for you. Now, this video I want to talk about the trap of resolutions. Why I say the resolutions are a trap, and I'll explain you why, and then what is a better way, what is a more powerful way, a more powerful mental framework which can help you achieve results, practice habit, build a habit, and really become a better version of you. Now, every year the energy is high. We start the year, a lot of motivation. We see people starting up, we see people building up resolutions, and even we build it, right? So, because the energy is so high to start the year, we are easily able to overcome the resistance the body has, the mind has, right? The negative habits, the bad habits, and we kind of able to overcome those things. But moment couple of weeks goes by, the initial energy starts fading, the motivation starts coming down. What happens then? The old habits starts surfacing again, and in that process, when the energy is down, the old habit is coming up, the resistance is coming up, the fight becomes a more challenging, and it requires a greater willpower to really sustain in that zone as well. And most people, that's where they give up. So if you look at the studies, 2 to 3 weeks is what the time is when all gyms goes empty again, or people stop doing the commitments, doing the resolutions. Now, what I feel is over here, people get into a ego conflict. What is the ego conflict? One, when I started practicing a resolution, my commitment was that I'm going to practice this gym every single day. I'm going to walk every single day. I'm going to say read a book, meditate every single day. And moment I miss even one day, suddenly my ego gets hurt. Oh, I have just missed. I've broken the momentum. I've broken the chain, right? And that one day miss becomes a 2 day miss, becomes a 3 day miss. And instantly or sooner than later, we stop doing the practice. We give up. And then we go back to square one. So over here, what you have to understand is we're not competing or fighting with somebody else. It's my own journey of transformation, right? So bringing the ego in this picture is the biggest mistake we carry out. Nobody's going to judge you if you're missing for 1 day or 2 day practice, right? Till the point you're going to achieve the end result of really building a habit, which takes time to build, right? So then the point is, okay, what is then a better way? Then what do we do right now which can help us create that habit, create that momentum for a long period of time? And that is what I call as, not building a resolution, but building a mindset. And what that mindset is, let me explain right now. And I'll give you my example. Now, we all know building habit is difficult. It's challenging. It's not an easy game because there's so much things at play here. The environment, your old habits, your body kind of memory, right? The past references you have in the brain that I started, I give up, right? And all those are in front of you to overcome right now. So how do you then ensure that you still overcome and build a new habit? And what I say is build a different mindset. And a mindset is a broader entity which contains your belief system, your way of thinking, and also the mental frameworks you carry which you want to live by with. So in the mindset, a mental framework I have possibly, and you can call this as maybe a commitment, a standard, whatever it might be for you, right? Is that whenever I miss a practice, for me that's not a failure. So missing a practice is not a failure, is not something bad. And then I tell myself, listen, you have decided to go to gym every day. You miss a gym on Thursday, absolutely all right. That is not counted as a failure. So now I'm literally moving out the ego from the picture. And I'm very comfortable that even if I miss out, it's absolutely all right. And why that is so? Because I know we miss out. We are human beings, right? And we sometimes give up in front of resistance. This is completely all right because we are building the muscle, and building the muscle is a time-taking process. So for me, missing out a practice is absolutely all right. But then my mental framework is, for me, failure would be if I do not start back. Starting back is the commitment for me. I say I can miss my practice 100 days. I can miss my meditations 100 days. And that still is not counted as a failure. What would be counting, what I'll count as a failure is if I do not start back. You see here, if you can start back every time you miss, eventually you will develop any habit in your system. Because the key is not in giving up. The key is not starting back, right? So my framework is I'm practicing something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I miss on Thursday. I miss on Friday. Absolutely all right. I do not create that, the feeling of loss, feeling of negativity, hopelessness. I say, oh, absolutely all right. I became aware I missed today's practice because of X, Y, Z reason. Okay, no worries. My commitment is to start back, to resume back. And then I focus on not on giving up, not on missing, not on losing, but my focus goes on starting back. And when you put your energy, your focus on starting back, guess what? It gets more energy. And we know where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're focusing on starting back, guess what happens? You tend to start back. Now you can miss as many times as you want, but if you continue to start back, there will be a time when you'll stop giving up. Because multiple reasons for it. One, every time you give up and you start back, you give up and you start back, you are training your brain to link a starting up with giving up, right? So you give up and you start. So the brain learns, okay, every time he gives up or I miss a practice, I'm going to resume back. And that mental association, that training of the mind is extremely powerful. And in fact, this is what sustains or help people develop a powerful habit, that they continue to start back whenever they stop doing something, right? So eventually the brain learn to start back. And that's one principle of maybe neuroplasticity, that we are linking a greater behavior with a behavior which I do not want for myself. But most often when people stop, what they do, they give up on something, they quit the practice, and they start focusing on it. And that focus creates pain, worthlessness. Oh, I do the same thing every time. I can never change. Oh, I can never improve. Look at my past. I have started something and I've stopped doing it, right? When I'm focusing on those things, I'm allowing my negative shadow self to gain more power. And that's my own limitation I'm creating for myself, my own prison. So the key here is, can you mentally focus on the positive you want to grow in, right? So the framework of starting again whenever I quit. And that for me, I believe, is a greater resolution, a greater hack, a greater tool, right? So ask for yourself right now, what are you practicing right now? If your resolution is only one, whatever my practice is, whatever my habit is, every time I stop doing it, I'll be absolutely fine with that. But my greater focus is to resume back as soon as possible. And if you can make a time commitment that whenever I miss my practice, my starting of the practice, I'll be resuming the practice in a matter of 12 hours, or maybe 6 hours, or maybe 24 hours, whatever time frame you feel good for you, right? And in that time frame, you hit the road back, right? And that is a greater momentum. That will create a greater energy because you're focusing on something positive. It is much more empowering to the body and the mind because now you are getting a kick of that joy, that excitement again. Because when you started the new year practice, think about it. It was not you're focusing on, oh, last year I have not done it. Last year I have not done it. You're not focusing on that. You are focusing on new year, new possibilities. Oh, let me take a resolution. So your entire mental, emotional focus was on starting back for this new year, because we all needs to have hope. We all needs to have a new sense of energy. And by the way, research highlights that when you have hope, when you have enthusiasm, right, it gives you a greater experience of health. The body expresses certain genes which gives you a greater strength in immune system, right? People fall less sick when they have hope and enthusiasm, and these are research in positive psychology, right? So this is what I want you to practice. Make a resolution that no matter what habit I'm practicing, The challenge, the failure is not giving or not missing or not stopping. The failure would be if I do not start back. And if you can continue focusing on starting back, sooner than later, this becomes your normal habit. And believe me, nothing would serve you greater than this in your life. I've seen so many people in my clients list, in my workshops. When I see people who have been able to get greater results, what is the mental model they were following? And this was the model that they miss some time, they give up some time, but they are very quick to start back. They are very quick to jump back on the momentum and ride the momentum to achieve the result. So there is no ego conflict here. Nobody's going to judge you. It's your game, it's your life, it's your journey. People will come and go. But you have to decide what is greater. Maybe a week of sustained practice or 5 years of sustained practice. What would be a greater thing? And if you know or if you understand that life is a marathon, it's not a 100-meter race. It is irrespective of what you do today and tomorrow. It is not going to really become a significant differentiator in your life. But what would you do for 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, 10 years? That becomes a greater differentiator. So, build a mental framework. I'm going to start whenever I stop. I'm going to start whenever I stop. And by the way, a greater tool would be repeat this affirmation. Build this thought, the strongest thought in your mind. I'm going to start whenever I stop. I start whenever I stop. I start whenever I stop. Build this mindset, this affirmation so strongly that this becomes your default behavior, default response. And believe me, if you do this part, you'll see the magic of how change can happen. How you can build strength, how can you build momentum, and how can you get a greater result. So I hope you enjoyed this thing. Please let me know what are the obstacles you're facing right now with respect to this new year, new habits, new goals, new energy. And I'll be happy to do some of the videos on those topics as well. And please let me know how did you find this particular tool, this framework in the comments. And please practice and let me know how is the results you're seeing for yourself. And if you enjoy this video, I would be glad and I'll be humbled if you can go back and subscribe to our channel. We are intending to put a couple of videos every week on these topics to help people improve, elevate their game and the quality of life as well. So till the next one, everyone, be iconic and do great work. Take care and have a great day.